So to get started on this makeup look, we are going to actually prep the face. I'm going to use the Glam Squad Amazing Setting and Hydrating Mist. What I really like about this is that it really just gives the skin that moisture without overloading it. Okay, so now that we've got the skin somewhat prepped, we're just going to go in with foundation. As you guys know, we are in quarantine, so we don't really need to ensure that this look is going to last all day. So I'm going in with my NARS Creamy Radiant. I believe that's what it's called, actually. Let's find out. Natural Radiant Long Wearing Foundation. I'm like the only person in America that doesn't know that name. So I wear the color Caracas, and for a really long time, I didn't like this foundation. And now I love it. Like now I think it's so pretty because it looks like skin and you get gorgeous coverage, as you can see, without really having to build up the product. So when makeup artists say to build up the product, what that really means is that you're gonna apply layers at a time. So you're gonna do one layer, like right now, this is our first layer. We're gonna let that kind of sit and see what that does. See if it changes colors, see if it starts to change in texture, see if it moves at all, and then we'll build up. So right now, this is one layer right here. We're just gonna build up a little bit of coverage right here because I've got a little bit of a hormonal breakout, so annoying. And how to build coverage is to stipple. So what you're gonna do is just tap and push and pounce into the skin, and that's actually how you build coverage. If you use sweeping motions, what you're gonna do is actually move a lot of your makeup if it's not dry, and then you're gonna kind of end up taking it off and you won't get the coverage that you wanted, and then you really won't have built anything. You'll just have been wasting your time. Although time is all we have right now because of quarantine. Okay, so when it comes to colorful looks, you really want to make sure that you have a perfected canvas. Even if it's a natural foundation and it still looks like skin, you want the color and the tone to be overall pretty even. So I'm gonna go in with this Naked Skin Red Color Corrector, and this works for me. It is a tough product to use, though, I will say that. It takes a little bit of precision because the red color is very pigmented, and I could see it being a little bit difficult for someone who is newer to color correcting. So I'm gonna take a small duo fibered brush, and I'm just gonna kind of buff that over the area that I do feel is a little bit gray. For most people, anatomically, they have that blue vein or green vein that runs right through here. And because the skin is very thin over that area, that color comes through. Also over this little breakout right here, and then tapping around the mouth as well, just to neutralize that. Around the eyes. And I know that some people correct before they even put their foundation on. For me, I kind of do it this way. It just works for me. But you've got to just make sure overall the goal is to make sure that your skin is perfected. So we're going to take Tarte Shape Tape. This is in the color Light Beige. This is very, very, very light, but I really like this under eye area highlighted. It doesn't look as crazy once I blend it out as it does right here, but I know that you probably are thinking, what in the world is she doing? And I'm just here to tell you that we're going to blend this out. It's going to melt seamlessly into that NARS, and it's going to look really good. Blend out my concealer. I'm going to go in with this e.l.f. powder blurring brush, and that's exactly what it does. It's such a good brush. It covers a lot of area on the face, so I don't have to spend a lot of time pouncing around with a sponge, but if that's your thing, go for it. To me, this just gets the product blended out, and it pushes it straight into that NARS foundation, so you can't really see where the concealer that we've used to highlight and correct, you can't really see where those colors start and stop. It just kind of melts right in. So I'm going to buff out above the eyebrows and on the forehead, and I'm going to take the brush and kind of go over my eyebrows as well. We're going to get ready to fill in the brows, but I'm going to let the under eye concealer dry so that we get a lot of coverage out of it while I fill in my eyebrows. I moved you guys a little closer for this part. What I'm going to do is take my Brush On Duo glue. I'm going to lightly coat it through just the front part of the brows, really, because I don't want too much glue. I could see this being, oh my God, Jesus help me. Okay, hang on real quick. We got to clean that up. All right, now I'm going to take my spoolie from my NYX eyebrow pencil, and we're just going to brush all of the hairs up. All right, now that we have the hairs brushed up, we're just going to take our pencil and then see where that bottom border is. We're going to start to sketch along that bottom and really create our brow. Okay, so now that I've got the brows filled in, they look a little crazy, but they do come together at the end. I'm gonna take my NARS Creamy Radiant Concealer in the color Cafe Con Leche, and we're just gonna tap a dot underneath each eyebrow. By the way, you guys, I'm filming on my phone. I have two expensive cameras, and I just really love the simplicity of filming straight on my phone. I know the colors, like, there's like shadows and the background's not blurred and whatever, but I just am like so over that, and I just like want to just spit out content and have it be a little bit more raw and a little bit less filtered and just do makeup. And the whole camera and the whole dog and pony show, it's a little complicated, and the end result ends up being sometimes not as good as just an iPhone. So I'm like, you know what, whatever, we're just gonna film on the iPhone and get this tutorial up. Okay, now that I've got my brows filled in and cleaned up on the bottom, I'm just gonna take a little bit of the brow blade. I used to use the color Dark Drapes. I switched to Neutral Nana. Dark Drapes was really, really dark, and I kind of just didn't really want like a very dark brow look anymore. So I'm just gonna go through and kind of create hair-like strokes in areas where I feel like I might have some patchiness. And we've got a feathered brow, you guys. And now that we've got the brows on, we're gonna go in and buff out that concealer and just push it into the sides of the nose and then underneath the eye as well. I also take it onto the eyelid because it is such a big brush that it's inevitably going to cover that area anyway. And then whatever's left, I kind of just push into the forehead to bring that tone all together. So for the under eye areas, we are going to do a method called sandwiching. I do this quite a bit. I am a firm believer in sandwiching your under eye products. And the reason why is because if you do not, it will have major flashbacks. So what we're gonna do is just take an e.l.f. brush. This is a sculpting face brush. And we're gonna take our setting powder. This is a MAC Studio Fix powder in NC30. I really love this one because it has a very bright, warm yellow tone. We can go in with yellow underneath the eyes because we've corrected all of the blue. If we hadn't corrected all the blue, we went in with the yellow powder, we would look like gray muddy water. So now that we're corrected, we can go in with our yellow powder. We're just gonna take this brush and we're gonna push it underneath the eye. So most people go in with loose powder and then they dust it off, and that's the baking process. For me, I go in with the colored powder, then I go in with the loose powder, and then I go back over it with a thin layer of the colored powder. And what that's gonna do is give you the best, most beautiful, flawless under eyes if you sandwich that loose powder in between two layers of colored powder. It diminishes your flashback. It just gives you such a gorgeous, flawless eye without looking like you've got a ton of powder, specifically translucent powder sitting underneath the eye. And we're really just pushing that into the skin, pushing it down the sides of the nose, down the bridge of the nose, in between the eyebrows, and then above the brows. Down the nasolabial folds, and then on the chin. You can set the tops, or the top of your lid if you want. We'll just do a little bit, but we're gonna go in with a creamy base for our eyeshadow look, so we don't really need to set that area. All right, now we're gonna go in and set with our loose powder. This is the Huda Beauty Easy Bake Loose Baking Powder in Banana Bread. I've tried several loose powders, different brands, and this is just my absolute favorite one. So now we're gonna take this, tap it underneath the eye, and then use the tip to really like bring it down the side of the nose. A little bit on the chin, and then we're gonna kind of bring it from the outer edge of the mouth up. All right, we're gonna let that sit while we do our eye makeup. So what we're gonna do is complete this eye. I did this one off camera just to kind of give you an idea of the final look. We're gonna take MAC Paint Pot and Lay and Low. This is a very good product for neutralizing the eyelid. So as you can see here, my eyelid has a couple of different colors without even putting on eyeshadow, and I just want to really create a nice clean canvas. So I'm taking this little brush and I'm just buffing the majority of the product onto the lid. This is really nice for if you have oily lids because it is mattifying and it's not super hard to blend out onto the lid. So this is a nice product if you are new to eye makeup because it's easy to work with. I'm taking a smaller brush as well because this fits nicely underneath the eye, and we're just going to buff that underneath the lower lash line and then take it out a little bit past the eye and then through this inner corner because we want all of that to be nice and primed and it neutralized. So for this look, we are going to go in with the J Tory Confidence palette, or I'm sorry, J Tory Beauty Confidence palette. This is what it looks like right here. Gorgeous colors, very versatile, and still really thin. So if you were packing this, it wouldn't take up too much room. let's go in with this color right here. It's a nice tan color. We're gonna take a fluffy brush and we're just gonna build up the crease. We're starting diagonal from the pupil. Wherever you put your brush down first is where you're gonna deposit most of your color. Windshield wiper motions, we're taking it into that bridge that feeds into the nose, through the front of the brow, and then make sure it extends out past the eyebrow. You never want color to abruptly stop there because that's not a very modern look. Make sure that's blended all the way in, really creating nice definition and shape. All right, now with the smaller brush, we're gonna take that same tan color and pop it on underneath the lower lash line. This is really gonna warm up the eye. It's a very soft look, and it really actually makes your eye look bigger from a distance. All right, now let's go in with this charcoal brown color right here, and we are just gonna shape this outer corner area with a little V motion right there. And we're gonna do that same thing on this inner corner area. If you have a good primer down, you don't really have to go super crazy on blending and layering colors because that primer automatically grabs the product and does that job for you. So I know it's one extra step, but it really does make a difference. All right, so now we have that center hollowed out. What we're gonna do is take a flat brush. We're gonna take this, oh my God, my nails are so bad, hashtag quarantine life, and grab this nude color right here, pack that just on the center. Almost looks stripy and crazy. Take your fluffy brush, that first brown color you grabbed, and then right where the brown meets that nude color, brush that tan color over it, and it really brings it all together and helps that look more cohesive. All right, now we're gonna take a flat brush. We're gonna take that charcoal color that we just used to define our outer corner, and we're gonna tap that on the lower lash line and give that lower lash line a little bit of definition. Now we're just gonna take a dark brown eyeliner. You can use whichever one you want. I like the NYX Faux Blacks because it's a very creamy formula. And we're going to create a thin line along the lower lash line. I'm wiggling it into the lashes to make sure we don't have any gaps. And I'm gonna create a little bit of a wing. So with pencils and a wing, all you can do is kind of create your wing and then take your angled brush and then actually use that to push that product around and refine the wing a little bit, because it's really hard to create a true clean wing with just a pencil. And even for this part, I'm just taking my angled brush and like really getting in the inner corner. All right, same at pencil, we're just gonna line the waterline, and we're not gonna take this too far down past that lash line. We don't want it to get super dark. We just want it to be a really nice clean line, but it's still soft because it's dark brown and not straight up black. Now we're gonna take that angled brush, and with that charcoal color, I say charcoal, it's an ash brown. We're gonna tap that over this eyeliner and then just kind of soften up that edge just a little bit. And the same thing for the bottom. That's pretty, and you can always take a flat brush and then take that nude eyeshadow color that we used to create that center halo and then kind of go under the outer wing if you do feel like it could be cleaned up just a little bit. And then just make sure to soften it back up because you don't want that to be a sharp line. Okay, and lastly for the inner corner, we're gonna take this yellow gold color right here and then just kind of pop that on the inner corner. I'm just kind of making sure it's not getting on that brown eyeliner that we put down. I'm keeping it really isolated to that inner corner area. And if you ever feel like you got too much on, just grab a clean fluffy brush and then just buff over it. Now let's dust off this bake. What we're gonna do is take off that excess powder, and then we're gonna grab a powder that we have that's similar to our skin tone. So I'm gonna go in with NC45 Studio Fix Powder by MAC. I'm gonna grab a little bit of that and then just sweep over that area. So what it's gonna do is sandwich that loose powder like we were talking about. Now we won't have flashback, but we do have flawless under eyes, and that's exactly how you achieve that. Okay, for contour, we're gonna go in with our MAC Sculpting Palette. I'm gonna take a Morphe M438 brush and I'm going to dab into this kind of cool toned color and mix it in with a little bit of that warm color and start to chisel out my jawline. All right, and for our nose contour, we're gonna grab a Real Techniques brush. This is a Instapop shade brush. So what I love about it is that it's slanted and it's duo fibered. So we're gonna actually take this side of the brush right here and we're gonna take this cooler toned, lighter color because we don't want the nose contour to get too dark. And we're gonna start from the front of the brow and drag down. And then take your finger and then just kind of push over it. And you see how that just like accentuates the bone structure nicely. We're also gonna take that color that same brush with this darker color, and we're gonna do it underneath the lip to make the lip look bigger. And then the tip of the nose to shorten that tip. For highlight, we are gonna take the Hello Halo Mega Glow highlighter in the shade Gilded Glow. And this is a liquid highlighter, but it dries down matte, and it comes with a little doe foot. But to control the amount of product that we're putting on, I'm just gonna take a little pencil and then lightly tap that down the bridge of my nose, and then with my ring finger just kind of shear it out. I'm also gonna take a little bit of that and then pop that on the inner corner. We're gonna grab a Real Technique sponge. What we're gonna do is dab this onto the face and then push it in with the sponge. All right, we've got our sponge. You're gonna use the flat side and then just start to pat onto the high planes of the face. So this is where I would like naturally catch some sun. And it does dry down matte, so you gotta move quickly, but oh my God, the glow is unreal. So pretty. I mean, that's some highlight, you guys. That's so good. Whatever's left on the sponge, I'm just kind of tapping between my eyebrows and then above onto my forehead. I'm also gonna take just a tiny, tiny, tiny amount and like pat it on the upper lip to accentuate the Cupid's bow. Okay, so for mascara, we are gonna go in with the L'Oreal Primer. This is such an oldie, but a goodie. We're gonna pop that onto the lashes, make sure every lash is evenly coated, and then we're gonna go in with one of my favorite mascaras, which I'm running low on. It's the Maybelline Angel Push Up. This is such an underrated mascara. It's got really good reviews on Amazon, but like I don't see like other people on the internet talking about it, but I'm telling you guys, it is so good. The brush is curved, and then it literally like is shaped in such a way that you cannot get clumps. So that's pretty fabulous. We're just gonna grab that and go over the lashes. We're really building up the lashes from the root, so we are wiggling and then pulling up. So now that we've got the mascara on and our lashes are nice and coated, we are gonna take a pair of J. Tory Beauty lashes. These are her natural wispies, and I love them because it's a very lightweight pair, as you can see. They don't look super bulky. They just give your lashes that little like extra fullness that we really need right now during this quarantine time. So what we're gonna do before we pop on our lashes is take a little bit of black eyeshadow, and we're just gonna push that over the band of the eyelash so that when we go to put our lashes on, they blend better into our lash look. And I've also trimmed them to fit my eye better. For glue, we're using the Duo Brush On Glue. This is exactly what I used in my eyebrows to push them up. And this glue specifically from Duo dries pretty quickly, so what I do is I just do one eye at a time. In the past with other glues, I've put glue on both bands, let them kind of get tacky, and then I go in and pop them on, but this one dries really quickly, so we've got to move fast. And we're on. You know, the key to really good makeup or just more refined makeup is not necessarily to copy like latest trends on Instagram and do your makeup exactly the same way everyone else is doing it. It's about being like smart and doing small little things that you can incorporate into your makeup routine to just make it look more modern. And that's why I think it's really important to do the little like black eyeshadow on your lash band, because having your lashes blend that much more ahead of time before having to like go over the lash band with more eyeliner is what's going to make a difference in your makeup look. You know, that's what's going to look better to the naked eye, not just in photos, not just on video, but like when you're actually interacting with someone in person, like in the real world. Yep, that looks so much better than if I were to have left that band clear and then try to go over it with like liquid eyeliner. Okay, for blush, we are actually going to take our matte Morphe lipstick in Fling. I've got some out on my hand here. We're just going to build up that product. And we're gonna take our sponge, the same one we used to use our plier highlighter, take that, and we're gonna pounce that onto the face. So I'm kind of starting on the apples. So I'm starting out on the apples and I'm pushing my way up towards the eye. All right, got some more product, and we are just gonna start pouncing our way up towards the corner of the eye. I don't really mind if it goes over the highlighted area. To me, it like is a nice mix, so it's okay. And a little bit of whatever's left on the brush, we're just gonna go over the nose. Not the brush, the sponge. For lips, we're gonna take Zen Zero Liner by Rimmel. This is available on Amazon and certain drugstores, and it's one of my favorites. We're gonna go over the outer edge. So you wanna overline your lips with a color that's similar to your skin tone so that it looks a little bit more organic. Kind of push that color around. And now let's go in with Morphe Commit, which is a very cool toned nude lipstick. And I'm gonna go over that area that I overlined as well. This is how you catfish. Now grab your original liner again and reinforce that line. And now you're gonna shade up and in towards the lip. All right, now let's grab KKW liner in 3, nude 3, and we're just gonna create a little bit of shadow right here. And grab your concealer brush and clean up the edge if you feel like it got a little out of hand. We're gonna do a little bit of a gloss. Let's do NYX Fortune Cookie or Biscuit. It has both names on the bottom. Let's go with Fortune Cookie. We're gonna take a little bit of this on our ring finger and just pat it only on the center of the lip. And then on the Cupid's bow. That way the gloss isn't running towards the outer edges of the lips and we don't feel like we're like chasing our lip line all day. All right, you guys, I think that's it. Let's zoom out and see how we feel about this. All right, you guys, that concludes this look. I felt like it was really simple. You can do the blush look with the lipstick you already own. I think you should swap out your black eyeliner for a dark brown one and just kind of play around with different techniques. The star standout product, you guys, is the Wet n Wild Mega Glow Halo Highlight. This is so beautiful, and I feel like it gave me a nice radiant sheen without looking overly powdery or overly made up. If you have any questions, let me know, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.